There is something truly magical about walking into a garden and being greeted by the velvety petals and intoxicating fragrance of a deep red rose. For centuries, roses have been the undisputed royalty of the garden, symbolizing passion, beauty, and a touch of old-world romance. But if you have ever tried to expand your rose collection by purchasing new bushes from a nursery, you know how quickly the costs can add up. Naturally, many of us turn to propagation as a budget-friendly way to multiply our favorite plants. Yet, if you ask a room full of gardeners about their experience with rose cuttings, you will likely hear a chorus of frustration. Classic propagation methods often feel like a game of chance, where more often than not, your carefully prepared stems end up turning black, rotting, and ending up in the compost bin. Most gardeners don't know this, but the reason rose cuttings fail so frequently is not a lack of a green thumb. It is a battle at the microscopic level. The moment you sever a stem from its parent plant, you create an open wound. This wound is highly susceptible to soil-borne pathogens, fungal infections, and harmful bacteria that are eager to feast on the plant's natural sugars. At the same time, the cutting is suddenly cut off from its life support system. Without roots, it cannot draw up water, yet its leaves continue to transpire, losing moisture to the dry air. It is a race against time. Can the stem develop roots before it either dehydrates or succumbs to rot? In most traditional setups, rot wins the race. But what if you could tip the scales entirely in your favor using simple, everyday ingredients sitting in your kitchen right now? Today, we are going to dive into an extraordinary, natural propagation method that completely bypasses the need for expensive chemical rooting hormones or high-tech equipment. This is a technique passed down through generations of resourceful growers, refined by a bit of modern plant science. By combining the natural defense mechanisms of garlic with the nutrient-dense vitality of orange peels, we can create an environment where rose cuttings do not just survive. They thrive and push out robust roots in a matter of days. Before we touch a single tool, we need to understand the biological powerhouse we are working with. Garlic is not just a culinary staple. In the plant world, it acts as a potent, broad-spectrum antimicrobial and antifungal shield. It contains a sulfur compound called allicin, which is released when the garlic cells are crushed. Allicin is nature's disinfectant, capable of warding off the very pathogens that cause stem rot. On the other hand, orange peels are packed with ascorbic acid, commonly known as vitamin C, alongside vitamin E and a wealth of essential minerals. Vitamin C acts as a powerful antioxidant and cellular stimulant for plants, triggering rapid cell division at the base of the cutting where roots need to form. When you combine these two ingredients, you create a dual-action formula that simultaneously protects the stem from disease while supercharging its natural rooting response. Here's where the real secret begins. Successful propagation starts long before you mix your natural rooting solution. It begins with selecting the perfect donor stem. When you look at a rose bush, you might be tempted to cut the thickest, oldest branch you can find, thinking it represents strength. Or perhaps you want to grab a tender, bright green shoot from the very top of the plant. Both of these choices are common mistakes that lead to failure. An old, woody stem has lost its youthful cellular flexibility, making it incredibly slow to initiate new roots. Conversely, a very young, soft shoot is too weak, lacks stored energy, and will rot almost instantly. Instead, you want to look for what gardeners call semi-hardwood. This is a stem that is firm but still flexible, typically found in the middle section of the plant. A fantastic rule of thumb is to select a stem that has recently finished blooming. When a rose bloom begins to fade, the plant naturally redirects its hormones and sugars back down into the stem. making it absolute prime real estate for propagation. Look for a healthy, disease-free stem that is about 15 to 20 centimeters in length, roughly the thickness of a standard pencil. Ensure the parent plant shows no signs of yellowing leaves, black spots, or powdery mildew, as these pathogens will easily transfer to your new cutting. Once you have identified your perfect candidate, use a pair of bypass pruning shears that have been thoroughly cleaned and sanitized with rubbing alcohol. This is the step many people skip, and it is a costly mistake. Dirty shears introduce harmful bacteria directly into the fresh cut, sealing the cutting's fate before it even has a chance. Make a clean, sharp cut at a 45-degree angle just below a leaf node. The 45-degree angle is crucial because it maximizes the surface area of the exposed cambium layer, the green ring just beneath the bark where root cells are born, while preventing water from pooling at the base, which can invite rot. Now, gently strip away all the leaves from the lower half of the stem. Why do we do this? Leaves are water guzzlers. Without roots to replenish lost moisture, keeping too much foliage on the cutting will quickly dehydrate the stem. By removing the lower leaves, you drastically reduce water loss through transpiration. Furthermore, you are forcing the plant to redirect all its internal energy away from maintaining foliage and directly into root production. With your trimmed stem ready, take a fresh clove of garlic and cut it in half to expose the wet, aromatic juices. Gently but thoroughly rub the freshly cut surface of the garlic directly onto the bottom end of your rose cutting. Make sure the juices coat the entire angled cut and the lower node. As the garlic juice dries, it forms an invisible organic seal over the wound. This biological barrier keeps harmful fungi at bay while leaving the plant's pathways open to receive moisture and nutrients. Now that our cutting is prepped and protected, we need to brew our natural rooting elixir. To do this, we will harness the full power of our orange peels and garlic. Take the peel of a fresh orange and chop it into fine, small pieces. Chopping the peel increases the surface area, allowing the hot water to extract the maximum amount of vitamins, essential oils, and minerals. Place the chopped peels into a clean glass jar. Next, take 3 plump cloves of garlic. Instead of just tossing them in, peel them and chop them finely as well. Chopping the garlic ruptures the cell walls, activating the allicin and releasing those vital antiseptic properties into our mixture. Add the chopped garlic to the jar with the orange peels. Pour 500 milliliters of hot water over the mixture. The water should be hot but not boiling, as extreme heat can degrade the delicate vitamin C and essential oils. Stir the mixture gently, cover the jar, and let it steep for about an hour. As it sits, the water will transform into a cloudy, fragrant, nutrient-rich tea. The garlic works to sterilize the environment, while the citrus oils and vitamins infuse the water, creating a perfect liquid gold that will stimulate the plant's dormant root cells. Once the hour is up, strain the liquid through a fine mesh sieve to remove all the solid pieces of peel and garlic. What you are left with is a pure, all-natural, highly potent rooting solution. At this point, we need to prepare the vessel that will house our cutting. Traditional soil propagation can be tricky because soil can easily dry out or compress, suffocating the delicate new roots. Water propagation is also risky because water lacks oxygen, which can cause the stem to drown and rot. To solve this dilemma, we are going to use a common household item that completely changes the game: a simple, clean kitchen sponge. Most gardeners don't know this, but a sponge is one of the absolute best mediums for rooting cuttings. It possesses a unique cellular structure that acts like a capillary system. It holds on to moisture beautifully, ensuring the stem never dries out, while simultaneously trapping tiny pockets of air. This provides the perfect balance of moisture and oxygen, two elements that are absolutely critical for rapid root initiation. Pour your strained garlic and orange peel solution into a clean glass jar. Take your sponge and cut a piece that fits snugly into the mouth of the jar. Using a clean pair of scissors, make a small vertical hole right through the center of the sponge. This hole will act as a secure anchor for our rose stem. Insert the rose cutting through the sponge, ensuring that the bottom node, where we rubbed the garlic, protrudes slightly out of the bottom of the sponge, allowing it to sit directly in the nutrient solution. Secure the setup with a bit of wire if necessary to keep the stem perfectly upright and stable. To complete this mini ecosystem, we need to tackle the issue of humidity. Since our cutting has no roots yet, it needs an environment with high humidity to prevent it from drying out. Take a clear plastic bag and place it over the top of the jar and the cutting, securing it tightly around the rim of the jar with tape or a rubber band. This creates a highly effective greenhouse effect. It traps the moisture evaporating from the jar, creating a self-sustaining cycle where water condenses on the plastic and drips back down, keeping the humidity at a constant 100%. Place your setup in a warm, bright location that receives indirect sunlight. Never place it in direct sun, as the greenhouse effect will turn the plastic bag into an oven, cooking your delicate cutting within hours. What happened next surprised me, and it will surely amaze you when you try it at home. The waiting period is often the hardest part of gardening, but with this method, you won't have to wait long. Because of the perfect microclimate we created, the plant does not experience the typical shock associated with propagation. On the first couple of days, you might not see much happening on the surface, but beneath the sponge, inside the stem, a quiet revolution is taking place. The cells at the base of the cutting, stimulated by the vitamin C and protected by the garlic's antimicrobial shield, are rapidly dividing. They are transforming from ordinary stem cells into specialized root primordial cells. By day 3, if you were to peer closely through the glass, you would notice a subtle change. The base of the stem, which usually turns black and slimy in plain water, remains a healthy, clean green. You will begin to see tiny, white, callus-like bumps forming around the cut edge and the lower node. This callus is a beautiful sight. It is the precursor to actual roots, showing that the stem has successfully healed its wound and is actively preparing to push out roots. The results became visible just days later. By day 5, the transformation is nothing short of spectacular. Robust, snow-white roots will begin to emerge from the callus, reaching out into the nutrient-rich liquid. These are not weak, spindly roots. They are thick, healthy, and covered in tiny root hairs, which are responsible for absorbing water and nutrients. At the same time, look at the top of the cutting. You will see vibrant, bright green shoots beginning to swell and burst from the upper nodes. This dual growth, roots below and shoots above, is the ultimate confirmation of a successful propagation. Once your cutting has developed a strong network of roots, usually around the 1 week to 10-day mark, it is time to transition it to its permanent home. Prepare a small pot filled with a loose, nutrient-rich potting mix. A blend of compost, peat moss, and perlite is ideal, as it provides excellent drainage while retaining just enough moisture. Gently remove the cutting from the sponge, taking extreme care not to damage the delicate new roots. Plant it into the soil, water it thoroughly with some of the remaining garlic and orange peel solution to ease the transplant shock, and keep it in a shaded area for a few days as it adjusts to its new environment. This simple organic method proves that you don't need synthetic chemicals or expensive setups to grow a breathtaking garden. With just a single rose stem, a clove of garlic, and an orange peel, you can unlock the natural potential of plants and fill your yard with stunning, fragrant red roses. It is a rewarding, deeply satisfying process that connects us to the clever workarounds of old-school gardeners. If you loved discovering this natural gardening secret and want to learn more practical, budget-friendly tips to help your garden thrive, please consider subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with your fellow plant lovers. Let us know in the comments below if you have ever tried propagating roses, or what natural ingredients you love using in your garden. Until next time, happy gardening, and may your backyard be filled with beautiful, blooming roses.